skills, habits, and the power of taking care of your own life. There is a point in this journey where awareness stops being the thing holding you back. By now, you can see patterns, you understand how consequences form, you know when something isn't worth it. You've learned how to pause, how to stay silent, and how to recognize red flags early. You are no longer confused about why your life looks the way it does. And yet, life can still feel heavier than it should. Not dramatic, not falling apart, just harder than necessary. That's usually the moment people assume they're missing one last mindset shift or heal one more thing before life finally clicks into place. But that's not what's happening. What's happening is simpler and much more practical. If you want independence, real independence, you need more than insight and good decision making. You need skills. Not impressive skills, not resume skills, not skills meant to prove anything to anyone. You need life skills. The unglamorous, ordinary skills that quietly determine whether your life feels calm or chaotic, steady or constantly on edge. Here's the truth people don't like to admit until they live it. You feel better about your life when you can take care of yourself. Not when you understand yourself, not when you can explain your patterns, when you can actually handle your own life. And when you can't, you feel it everywhere. In your stress, your confidence, your relationships, and your sense of stability. Taking care of yourself isn't a chore. It's identity formation. Every time you handle your responsibilities, something subtle but powerful happens. You start to trust yourself. You feel capable. You stop feeling like life is always one step ahead of you. But when you don't handle them, the opposite happens. You feel behind, dependent, unprepared, like you're constantly trying to catch up to a life that keeps speeding up. That tension isn't a character flaw. It's what happens when your internal identity doesn't match your external reality. Awareness without infrastructure creates frustration. And this is where the work changes. Awareness shows you what's wrong. Structure is what makes life feel steady. Pattern number 1, you don't rise to insight, you fall to systems. One of the biggest lies in modern self-improvement is the idea that awareness automatically changes behavior. It doesn't. Insight helps you see the problem, but it doesn't solve it on its own. Research in behavioral psychology consistently shows that long-term behavior change depends far more on environment, routine, and friction than on intention or understanding. Your brain is wired for efficiency. It wants to conserve energy. This is why habits form in the first place. Psychologists refer to this as cognitive load, the amount of mental effort required to function. When your life is disorganized, your brain is constantly managing unfinished tasks, missing supplies, overdue responsibilities, and background stress. When your life is structured, your brain can redirect energy toward high-level decisions instead of survival logistics. This is why people with messy environments and neglected responsibilities often feel exhausted even when they aren't doing that much. Their mind is running too many background processes at once. It's like trying to work with 50 tabs open. Nothing is broken, but everything is slower, noisier, and harder than it needs to be. Insight without systems creates friction. Systems carry you when your motivation fades. That's why structure isn't restrictive, it's supportive. There's an important psychological loop happening here that most people never see. Your identity isn't built by what you believe about yourself. It's built by evidence. Your brain is constantly collecting data points and asking a simple question. Can I rely on this person? And when the person it's evaluating is you, the answer matters more than anything else. Every time you follow through on a responsibility, your brain logs a quiet win. Every time you handle something before it becomes a problem, you create internal proof that you are competent, capable, and steady. Psychologists call this self-efficacy. the belief that you can successfully manage your life. And that belief doesn't come from affirmations. It comes from repetition. The opposite is also true. When responsibilities pile up, when systems break down, when you constantly have to scramble, your brain collects different evidence. It starts to doubt you. Not in a dramatic way, but in a subtle, erosive way. Confidence weakens, anxiety rises, you hesitate more, you procrastinate more. Not because you're lazy, but because your identity no longer feels solid enough to stand on. This is why systems matter so much. They aren't about control. They are about evidence. They quietly prove to your nervous system that you are someone who can be trusted, and that changes how you show up everywhere. Pattern number 2, your environment trains your nervous system. People love to dismiss cleanliness and organization as superficial, but psychology doesn't agree. Environmental psychology shows that clutter increases cortisol levels and keeps the nervous system in a low-grade stress response. Visual disorder signals to your brain that something is unresolved, even when you're not consciously thinking about it. A messy space isn't just mess, it's mentally loud. When your environment is cluttered, chaotic, or neglected, your nervous system stays on edge. You feel overwhelmed, unfocused, and oddly unmotivated. When your space is functional, clean, and intentional, your nervous system relaxes. You feel calmer, clearer, and more capable of action. This doesn't mean perfection or aesthetic minimalism. It means support. Your environment should help you move through your day, not quietly drain you. Cleaning isn't about discipline or morality. It's about removing friction so your life feels easier to live inside. Pattern number 3, preparedness is confidence in disguise. Laundry, hygiene, and basic upkeep sound boring until they aren't handled. Then they become stress, embarrassment, and self-consciousness. This matters because preparedness feeds self-efficacy, your belief that you can handle life as it comes. When your clothes are clean, your body is cared for, and your basics are handled, you move through the world differently. You feel presentable. You feel grounded. You feel ready. That readiness translates directly into confidence, even if people don't realize where it's coming from. Neglecting these basics creates subtle but persistent anxiety. You hesitate, you avoid, you feel not ready yet, even when opportunities appear. Confidence isn't built in big moments. It's built through the quiet maintenance that tells your brain, I've got this. The cognitive drain of almost ready. Here's a hidden mental tax that comes from living in a constant state of almost. Almost caught up, almost organized, almost ready, almost on top of things. That state creates what is referred to as cognitive drag. Your mind is never fully at rest because something is always unfinished. When basics aren't handled, your brain stays partially occupied. It tracks what you forgot, what you need to do, what you're avoiding, and what might go wrong. Even when you're trying to relax, part of your attention is still running a background checklist. That's exhausting, and most people don't realize that's why they're so tired. Preparedness removes that drag. When your clothes are clean, your body is cared for, your essentials are stocked, and your routines are reliable, your brain gets to stand down. It no longer has to monitor for embarrassment, inconvenience, or last-minute panic. You aren't bracing for life, you're meeting it. And that's why preparedness feels like confidence even when nothing impressive is happening. You're not hyped, you're settled. And that settled feeling is one of the most underrated forms of power there is. Pattern number 4, neglect is expensive, consistency is cheap. Most stress doesn't come from disasters, it comes from neglect. Skipped appointments, avoided bills, ignored signals, small things left unattended until they grow teeth. Behavioral science calls this delay discounting, our tendency to choose short-term comfort over long-term stability. You skip the walk today, ignore the email, avoid the expense, put it off. Each choice feels small, but the return compounds. Health issues worsen, financial stress grows, emotional weight accumulates. Consistency works the opposite way. Small, boring actions reduce emergencies. Healthy habits aren't punishment, they're preventative life support. So is budgeting. So is planning. So is saying no before something costs more than you can afford emotionally or financially. Discipline isn't what makes life hard. Neglect is. Pattern number 5, self-sufficiency protects your peace. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it does buy options, and options are psychological safety. When you can support yourself, even imperfectly, you aren't easily pressured, guilted, or leveraged. You don't stay because you owe. You don't tolerate disrespect because you need something. You don't compromise your values to survive. Autonomy is one of the strongest predictors of well-being. Humans thrive when they feel capable of directing their own lives. Self-sufficiency doesn't mean doing everything alone. It means not being trapped by dependency that compromises your choices. Independence protects your peace. Why responsibility feels heavy until it doesn't. Most people avoid responsibility because they think it's heavy. But responsibility done late is heavy. Responsibility done early is light. 5 minutes now saves hours later. One decision today prevents weeks of stress. One conversation early avoids months of resentment. Responsibility isn't about control, it's about timing. The earlier you handle things, the less energy they take. The longer you wait, the more they grow. This is why responsible people don't feel burdened. They feel free. Their life isn't cluttered with unfinished business. Pattern number 6, responsibility creates relief. Here's the part people rarely hear. Responsibility, when practiced consistently, becomes a relief. It stops feeling like something you carry and starts feeling like something that carries you. Once your life is maintained, you are no longer spending energy remembering, managing, worrying, or scrambling. And this is where the emotional payoff finally shows up. Stress decreases not because life is easier, but because fewer things are unresolved. Anxiety lowers not because nothing goes wrong, but because you trust yourself to handle what does. Pride replaces shame because your life reflects care instead of avoidance. From a nervous system perspective, this matters deeply. Predictability creates safety. When your systems are reliable, your body doesn't stay in fight or flight mode. You sleep better, you react less, you recover faster. Responsibility done early sends a powerful message to your brain. I've got this. And that message changes how heavy life feels. Not all at once, but steadily over time. Pattern number 7, responsibility that builds a life that holds you. You don't need to become someone else. You need to become someone you can rely on. Skills create stability. Habits create ease. Responsibility creates pride. When those things are in place, your nervous system calms down, your identity stabilizes, and your choices become easier. Independence isn't about rejecting help. It's about being able to stand on your own 2 feet without wobbling, capable, prepared, grounded. That's how life stops feeling like something you're constantly reacting to. I've linked a companion PDF below to help you identify which life skills will give you the biggest return right now and how to start building them without overwhelm. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and I will see you in the next one.